Hey, so this is a short follow-up I wanted to do to my original Sunshine video. If you're coming into this video unaware, I already made this massive video going over the bizarre history of Sunshine's development and all the changes it went through before release. It was a huge project for me and I put a lot of time into it, so if you haven't already, give it a watch. Now, even though I'm extremely happy with how the video turned out and the response to it has been fantastic, ironically enough, just like Sunshine itself, there was a lot I left on the cutting room floor. And it's been on my mind for a while, and other projects I was working on kind of stagnated, so I decided to make a little bonus video going over everything. I don't have any real format for this, so I'm just gonna go through a bunch of different things. Let's start with something I learned pretty late into the video's production. The E3 demo of Sunshine featured a unique method of healing not found in the final game. If Mario was low on health, he could recover it by relaxing in water. It even had a little effect to go with it. The idea here seems to be that on a hot tropical island, Mario could heal by simply diving into the cool, refreshing water. This mechanic seems mostly useless in a game where coins restore life, but it would make sense in a version of the game where both life and water were connected. Is it possible that this is a remnant of a mechanic from the Space World era of Sunshine? On that note, there actually is something tangentially similar to this still accessible in the final game. You know that enemy that spawns outside Peanut Park? They're called Swiping Stews, and they're the only enemy in the game that can steal Mario's hat, complete with a mustache. When this happens, Mario's health will slowly start to drain. I assume everyone who's played this game has seen this before, but did you know you can actually stop Mario from taking damage by going into water? I was always confused as a kid as to why Mario took damage when he lost his hat, but now I know. Dude's getting a heat stroke. A cool detail that I didn't notice initially is that in the E3 demo, the puddles Mario creates actually reflect the skybox. I imagine the reason for its removal is that it's potentially hard on the GameCube. On the topic of the skybox, this also slightly changed, as many early screenshots showcase a much more cloudy sky. This early skybox was left in the game's code and can be re-enabled. There's another unused skybox that was also used in the Space World reveal trailer. The original introduction cutscene with Petey Piranha had music in it. Here's what it sounds like restored. Here's something that's not related to cut content, it is more just an obscure mechanic. Did you know you can collect 100 coin shines in secret levels? As far as I'm aware, it's not possible to fully collect all the coins necessary in the secrets themselves. A lot of secrets don't even have coins to collect. But on some of them, if you enter with 99 coins and get one, then the shine will spawn in a set location. Even a lot of the secrets that don't have coins still have built-in shine spawn locations that appear if the player somehow gets the coins necessary to spawn them. Speaking of shine spawn locations, some levels actually have spawn locations for Shadow Mario shine sprites. It seems like at some point, these, like every other shine sprite, had spawn locations rather than simply dropping from wherever he was defeated, which ultimately I think is a change for the better. Okay, how many of you watching right now have ever seen Sunshine's opening demo? I'm gonna assume most people haven't, since you have to wait on the title screen to get it, and unless you have to suddenly emergency piss, I'm pretty sure most people just start the game. Regardless, the opening demo features some unused voice clips from Mario. There's this one for when he's wall jumping. Why does it sound like he's throwing up? There's another one for when he gets launched by a cataquack. And finally this one for when he's entering a level. You may have also noticed that the opening demo uses the Space World reveal theme. It's even featured on the official soundtrack for 3D All-Stars. I already went over a few details about the cutscenes in the main video, but there's still a lot of bizarre little things featured throughout them. Here's a great one that I honestly can't believe I forgot to include in the original video. In the opening, during the little montage of different locales on the island, in the Bianco Hills shot, you can actually see Mario. But wait, does that mean the Piantas were right? Was Mario actually the one polluting Isle Delfino? Maybe that's why he didn't fight his sentence at all. The introduction cutscene with Flood has a much earlier design for Corona Mountain in the background. This early version of Corona Mountain can also be seen in this early screenshot of the cops arresting Mario, which did end up getting fixed for the final game, but not the flood cutscene. During the courthouse scene, when the prosecutor starts talking about shrine sprites, if you look closely, you can see a rocket jump block placed over the pipe to Pianta Village. It seems like at some point, the developers wanted to prevent the player from reaching Pianta Village without the rocket jump. In the final game, it's actually not too difficult to get up there without it, and it's even easier in the Japanese release due to slightly different collision on the Shine Gate slopes, allowing you to easily wall jump up there. The last cutscene oddity isn't an error and is more just weird. So during the ending cutscene with Flood's whole death here, there's a brief shot of the back of Mario where you can see this really freaky looking neck they gave him. It's not even like the same color as his skin. I understand that they did this to give him more range of movements for this scene, but it looks awful. Here's something weird I noticed. So during the E3 demo, they had this stage select, and one of them was for a stage called Junior's Playing Room. It's just an early version of the casino secret level, but the fact that it's named is interesting. The secret levels in the final game don't have any names attached to them, so this is the only time one has ever been named, although it's unclear if this was just a name they picked for the E3 demo. This name also seems to imply that the reason the secrets look the way they do is because they're made up of Bowser Jr.'s toys, which actually explains a lot. On the topic of the E3 demo, another small thing I didn't mention is that they still use the Japanese miss whenever Mario dies. The flooded version of Delfino Plaza is something I didn't go over at all in my video, but it's notable for using a slightly earlier layout for the plaza. There's a few good videos covering this already, so I'll link them below if you're curious about all the changes made to it, but the most interesting thing it has are different manhole placements, including one in the jail cell. It seems this was originally how you were supposed to get this blue coin, which can also be seen in this early screenshot. The Shine Sprite hidden on the beach is also in a different location. The Flooded Plaza also has its own unique 100 coin shine spawn, with it dropping on top of the Delfino Plaza statue. Again, there's a bunch of other small differences. These were just the things I thought were worth mentioning. I'd recommend watching other people's videos first and foremost on this particular subject. Something I did talk about in my video are pollution maps. These revealed the original layout of Dulphic Town and an early Bianco Hills, but there's another one I didn't tackle. This, a pollution map associated with Hotel Delfino's casino, shows a layout that doesn't quite resemble anything in the final game. It's impossible to say what this map was for, but it does seem related to Hotel Delfino in some way, so it could be an early version of that. The center of it does somewhat resemble the platform the hotel itself is on. I don't know, what do you guys think this map was supposed to be? Let me know in the comments. There's one pollution map for the underwater section of Noki Bay that just has Baka written on it in katakana. So everyone who's played Sunshine has, at bare minimum, seen the statue cutscene, right? Well, there's actually another variant of this scene, but rather than being an FMV, it's a simple in-game cutscene. You can actually spot this exact same scenario in the NGC trailer. It seems like there originally wasn't an event with Shadow Mario at the statue, or at least not a full FMV for it. There is a screenshot from post E3 that seemingly shows the event, but this also seems to be incomplete as they just kinda stand in place. Shadow Mario is even missing his paintbrush here. There's also a small clip of Shadow Mario running up to Peach, and again, he's still missing his paintbrush. It seems like this whole sequence was originally shown in-game. I assume the FMV was added later to give better cohesion to the scene, at least in my opinion. Here's a pretty recent discovery made by user Grumpy Circle. The Yoshi Merry Go round in Peanut Park has unheard instruments due to an error. Here's what they sound like when enabled. Sunshine has an unused transition that looks like this. I assume this was maybe meant for entering a building, but your guess is as good as mine. There's another unused goop type I didn't go over in the video. At some point, it seems like they experimented with the goop that goes directly above the water, kinda like an oil spill. It does no damage to Mario, so its ultimate purpose is unknown. In Rico Harbor Episode 8, there's an invisible barrel that Mario can jump on. You can locate it easily by looking at Mario's shadow. You'll know you're under it when it disappears. On the topic of Rico Episode 8, there's a unique oversight that only exists in the initial release of 3D All-Stars. During the opening, you can see a Pianta spawn in from the sky. This eventually got patched in later versions. Okay, this next thing is something that I learned so late, and that like just came out, that I had to just I couldn't even write anything in the script for this, so I'm just recording something now. Originally, Sunshine was going to use 64's method for when you touch fire where you like bounce off of it, and instead we got this one where it traps you in place and just murders you. Don't really understand why they changed it. Worked perfectly fine as is. It's not like it matters. Fire goop is barely in Sunshine as is, so I don't know, just confusing to me. Okay, here's the last thing, and it's something pretty major. I wasn't sure how to initially handle it and couldn't really find a proper place for it in the main video, so I'm gonna go over it now. So Corona Mountain has an interesting piece of terrain that goes completely unseen by the player, but it's present in Bianco Hills, Serena Beach, and Pianta Village versions of the volcano, although it's impossible to see this normally. It's even featured on the clay model version of Isle Delfino made by Koizumi, so it's a very intentional detail regarding the topography of Corona Mountain. Despite that, it's unclear as to why this exists, as not only are you not able to ever really see this for yourself, but you never actually go there either. You'd think the game's final boss would take place here, but instead it's in a space on a bathtub. Let me know if you have any theory about this Corona Mountain discrepancy in the comments, and I'll pin it if I think it's good. And that's pretty much everything that I felt was worth talking about. Again, there is a lot of small little things I could mention. There's these unused coin trails in the Sandbird level. Monty Mole is actually able to throw other things besides bombs. Again, if you're interested in anything I didn't mention, I'd highly recommend checking out the Cutting Room Floor page, or just checking out the Sunshine Hut Discord. I'm sure they'd be more than willing to answer any questions you might have. I do have one more section I want to include in this video. It was a small part I cut out of the original Sunshine video, but it's mainly just me talking about like little pieces of merchandise and stuff. I did that before in some of my other videos, so I figured I'd do it in this one, but overall I just thought it didn't fit. It kind of hurt the pacing of the video and the flow, so I ended up scrapping it, but I figured now would be a good time to incorporate it. Thanks for watching. I am still working on the 358 over 2 days video. Hopefully that should come together soon. And I plan on making more big projects like the Sunshine video covering other topics, so if that interests you at all, then please subscribe. Other than that, thanks for watching. Bye. You know, compared to some of the other series I've looked at, Mario is not what I'd call sparse in merchandise. A lot of Sunshine's more prominent pieces are Japanese exclusive, however, like these Gashapon figures made by Kubrick Eugen. I like the style of these a lot, but this Peach has seen death in some incomprehensible shape or form. The Toad in this set is pretty doofy looking too, but I actually kind of like him. Got a chill BMO energy to him. By the way, just a heads up, pretty much everything I show in this video is stupidly rare and expensive. Like this Pianta plush that someone's asking a staggering $3,000 for. For that price, I hope the thing comes to life and chucks me to my death. Sunshine has quite a few rare plushies. There's a female Pianta, a Noki, a Shine Sprite, a Toad. The weirdest by far is this duo plush of Mario and Yoshi made by Sine, but instead of riding Yoshi, they just hold hands. Oh hey look, this Yoshi's also green. Go figure. Sine has another Mario Sunshine plush, which honestly still looks great even by modern standards. Personally, I'm a big fan of puntable Marios. Shame it costs $1 or $2. America also got this Mario plush by BDNA, which also looks pretty good. I'd much rather have had this plush as a kid than this ugly beast. Burger King got its own stupid looking Happy Meal toy. Someone on eBay is selling a broken one of these as a cake topper, which... don't. There's actually a bit of a mystery I stumbled upon related to this figure. You see, this was actually part of a set called Nintendo Superstars. This set involved a sweepstakes where there was a chance to get a gold variant of one of your toys, which you could then redeem to get a free Game Boy Advance. As of the making of this video, only 3 known gold variants have ever surfaced, and none of them are the Sunshine toy. So somewhere out there on this blue trap bubble, there exists a gold variant of my favorite cake topper. These are cool and all. I mean, who wouldn't pay $4,000 for Super Mario Sunshine themed bath bombs? But the one piece of Sunshine merch I always wanted as a kid was this. The Joyride Sunshine figure. Joyride were an unfortunately short-lived company who produced incredibly detailed and high-quality figures based on video games. and this figure is one of the best they ever made. For the insanely low price of $12, you get this incredibly good-looking Mario, Yoshi, and Flood. The figure does articulate a bit, but with these, I assume they were meant for an older audience, which for 2002 is a pretty bold idea for video game merch. Compared to the plushies, this figure isn't quite at the same level in terms of price. I mean, it's extremely pricey still, but compared to this fucker, he ranks in the lower depths of rare video game merchandise. There's a few other things like this magnet or this other plushie I didn't bring up, but I think it's time to move on to the remaining loose threads left in Sunshine.